Alright, everybody. This is Chewie891 here coming at you today with episode 5 of Chewie's Bodega. I'm here today with YoMannie, and this is the episode that I've been teasing about. We're going to talk about the first episode of Monday Night Nitro. Okay, me and Manny, we're huge wrestling fans. We talk about it all the fucking time. We talk about what we hate about it, what we like about it, what should be better about it. We've talked about being writers. They should hire us to write their fucking shows.
Good ideas for you.
Yeah, so Manny gave me a great idea. He was like, you know what, let's review an episode, like just a random episode, and he picked the first episode of Nitro. And in my entire life, I have never seen the first episode of Monday Night Nitro, I swear to God. Never. And I just thought it was a great idea. I'm like, all right, man. Yeah, I'll just give it a shot, like see what it's about, right? So anyway, that's me. I'll let YoMannie introduce himself and talk about his...
It's YoMannie. Live from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, huge wrestling fan, and one day, at work, me and Lou was shooting the shit with each other, and just talking about wrestling as usual or sports, whatever we want to talk about. You know how it is with guys. And I asked him if he ever seen the first episode of Nitro, and he actually hadn't. With me being a little bit older, I actually saw this episode live. I didn't understand the impact and the importance of this episode. It's actually a very important episode for a wrestling fan. And I think every true wrestling fan should see this episode. One, it's the first episode of WCW Nitro, Monday Nitro, where they were going to go head-to-head with Monday Night Raw. So that's huge in the Monday Night Wars. The second thing is, it's the only episode I ever seen live from a mall. This episode is live from Minneapolis, Minnesota, from the Mall of America. And you will see escalators and people standing around in stores and promos from restaurants. They got everything you could expect from a wrestling show in the mall. So, we just want to give you guys a good experience on our point of view of this episode and see where we go from there.
Yeah, and that's the part that tripped me out the most. It was like, if you didn't want to buy a ticket to watch this shit, you could literally just go in the mall, shop, get on the escalator, just stand there and watch. Like, my thing is, how did Bischoff make money on this episode? You know what I mean? On this, because
this had to take a loss. If you think about the amount of people that are standing around in this episode, and what it would cost to even have a wrestling ring inside the mall.
A wrestling ring inside a mall. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Liability behind that. It's a lot of things interesting about this episode, which is why I think it's historic.
I think it's very, like you said, it's historic, man. It's the start of the Monday Night Wars, right? I mean, this is the first time another, like, at that, we had Raw's War, we had WWF running everything at that point in time. WCW, they were in the background. But when they really started getting popular was around that time, 95, when they started challenging Vince. And at this point, they just got Hulk Hogan, right?
This is about a year after they signed Hogan, and I believe Macho Man had probably just signed around this time. I'll have to check the dates, but this is September of '95. So.
Right, September of '95. Right.
I was an 11-year-old boy, and I didn't understand. I was just happy that I finally got a chance to watch WCW wrestling. I believe we probably just got cable at the time, so like WCW used to just mainly come on like TBS and stuff. Right? Mm-hmm. It was just never on TV, at least not where I was living at. But I always knew of like the Lex Lugers, the Ric Flairs, and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Just never really saw him. You saw Ric Flair briefly in '92 in WWF.
Yep.
He wasn't in there long enough for you to really get an impact on how actually great of a wrestler he was, because he was in WCW. He was the flagship of NWA WCW.
Right, and Hogan was the flagship of the WWF at that time, and I mean, '92 is a crazy. We can talk about that another time. But '92 was a great year for wrestling, especially that '92 Rumble. With that's probably the greatest. That's the greatest Royal Rumble of all time. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. That shit was crazy. Yeah, but yeah, man, this is the first episode. Eric Bischoff is taking the reins of WCW at this point in time, right? And for me, like, I didn't start watching WCW, I'm gonna be honest with you, till about '96 when the NWO, right, took over. When Hogan turned heel again. I didn't understand it at that time because I was like, what, 6 or 7 or some shit like that. Like, but I was, I thought the NWO was cool. I thought Sting was cool because that was a mark for the Crow. He looked like the fucking Crow, and I was like, oh, he's cool. Goldberg was there at the time, and I was a mark for him around that. WWF I saw first. That was in like 94, 95. And that was, Yokozuna. That's when Undertaker was on his way up. Razor Ramon. I knew those characters. I knew that brand a lot. But what got me into was the NWO and all that stuff. Not 95 with WCW or anything. And again, same thing. It was on TBS. It wasn't like I could watch it. Like, we were broke on the south side of Milwaukee, man. We didn't have any cable. I mean, it's funny because the first time I saw WCW, I swear to God, I think it was Bash at the Beach. And we had a black box. We had a black box, bro.
Hello, baby.
Yep, for all of you young kids out there or whatever that don't know what a black box is, basically, just think about lives like you're watching an illegal stream. All it is a box with. That's what it does. You just watch all the pay-per-views for free, everything, Playboy, all that shit, man.
Definitely know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Won't give names.
I won't be amazed. There's gonna be like 10 people like, what the hell's a black box? That's how old I'm getting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so yeah, man. I mean, yeah, that's our familiarity with wrestling and where we started with it. And yeah, right off the bat, I gotta say, like, before we talk about the show piece by piece, like, I like this episode, like, because at this point in time, like, I'm seeing the differences between Eric Bischoff's version of WCW and then, like, Vince's version of WWF at that time. And also, 95, you have to remember, it's the year of Diesel. And, yeah.
Diesel.
Those were rough times for the WWF when Kevin Nash was champion for a year. Okay, let's just put it like that. The fact they gave him an entire year with that belt.
Man.
Dude, it was bad.
Yeah.
So that
a lot of people back wrestling only mattered about being big. Those was the days. That's the only, to me, that's only the justifiable reason why Hulk held the belt so many times and for so long. We don't want to get into. We'll get into his wrestling ability another day.
Another day. But anyways, so yeah, this episode starts off with the typical Monday Nitro intro. I love their intro, by the way. I've always loved Monday Night Nitro's intro. It always got me into the episode, with the whole exploding streets and all that shit. Next thing you know, you got Hulk Hogan showing up, the silhouettes and all that stuff. And we get into it, man. And on commentary today, we get to see the wrestling ring inside of Mall of America, and you see all these people surrounding the ring, and on the mics you got, and I didn't know this. I thought at that point in time it was just Bobby the Brain Heenan and Eric Bischoff, but you got Steve Mongo McMichael, probably the most hated person in the Midwest, on commentary because he was an asshole of a Bear player, right? I mean, this is Minnesota we're talking about, and I'm like,
from Green Bay.
Right. And what I love about the commentary and the dynamic, like, you could think that Steve Mongo McMichael's a shitty commentator, but what made it entertaining was Bobby the Brain Heenan, because he would always take a shot at Mongo, like being a Bear fan every now and then. I don't know if you caught that. Or being a Bear player, yeah. Like, And that's what made it. And they would always go back and forth with each other. And that was the best part of it. And I could just see Eric Bischoff being entertained as they're ripping each other back and forth.
Legendary wrestling duos. You got to have the classic skill with the normal guy with the heel, and they always feud. The Jerry Lawlers with the Jim Rosses. Got to try to create a dynamic, and that's how you keep people engaged to the product, because it ain't just a wrestling in the ring that'll sell the product. You ain't got people. TNA suffers, Impact. Let me call it what it is now. Impact suffers because their commentary is not all together.
No, it's not.
It kind of makes the program dry. Makes it dry. But what you saw in this episode, a young Eric Bischoff, Bobby the Brain Heenan in his prime, and trying to see what they could do with Mongo McMichael, and Didn't last too long, thankfully, with him on the mic. But
No.
we got some in this puppy during this episode in a little devil costume.
Right. And to me, like, this is smart from Bischoff too, because it's like, okay, who can I get a fucking reaction out of? Like, who's like Steve Mongo McMichael? Like, it's Minnesota. Like, they're gonna hate the shit out of Mongo. Like, regardless if they're gonna dig this. Like, it again, like Bischoff, like, it just saddens me where the product went. Right. But you see at the beginning where the potential was. Right, with this episode, you know what I'm saying? Like, you see his mind for the business, and it's like, okay, this guy has it somewhat together. He gets it a little bit, and like, he was ahead of his time. And now you can start seeing why WCW was ahead during this time, right? 95, 6, 7, and then it fell apart. But this
when
is
it comes to actually legitimate wrestling, I would say at this time it was way ahead of WWF. They had legitimate wrestlers from around the world that were well respected and well known. And it wasn't I won't say any. It wasn't many cheesy gimmicks like the WWF. WWF was definitely going to hold on to cheesy gimmicks for too long. Right now, I think there's a guy, an Asian guy playing a ninja. Akira Tozawa, is that his name?
Yeah, I don't even know. Tozawa, I don't know his name. Dude, I don't recognize. You know how bad the product is right now? This is how bad it is. I didn't even realize. Last time I was talking to my buddy, and I was like, well, the best women's route, because we were watching Manami Toyota and Asha Kong last night. By the way, you haven't seen that fucking match? Go watch it. It's awesome. But we're talking about women wrestling. I forgot to mention Asuka was the champion, and I forgot to mention that Asuka's the best women in their company, because I saw Charlotte come back, and I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, Asuka is the best, and yeah. Like, that's how much I don't care. Like, yeah.
They don't know what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing. AEW as well. Like, this is and then commentary, like, this is perfect. Like, we could just talk about the commentary. Like, you could see in the 90s, like, what the format was, right? WWF, you had your babyface and heel commentators. In WCW, you had your babyface and you had your heel commentators. Bobby the Brain Heenan was known to, like, hate the fuck out of Hogan. And he was a nice, great heel commentator and very witty and great on the mic. You had Bischoff being the babyface. You see what I'm saying? Like, we don't have that now. Like, you watch AEW, it's, JR, I love him to death, but it's time for him to stop. And then you got Excalibur. Yeah.
Yeah, Excalibur.
Like,
then you also have YoMannie. To me, it's too many commentators.
There's too many.
And sometimes Jericho.
Yeah. I don't know. See, the thing is, I don't have a problem with Jericho. Like, my thing is that's the formula then. What you got to do is, because I love Shivani on a mic. I think Shivani on a mic is fine. Excalibur's just hit or miss with me. Like, I feel like Excalibur needs someone else to go off of. Like, he can't go on by himself. Like, if you made Jericho a heel commentator along with Shivani, and maybe if you want to throw in a third, put in Excalibur, right? Or JR, whatever. Mm-hmm. But if you just do those two... You only do those two as commentators? Yeah, 3 is just too much. Granted, they have 3 here, but I'm at least entertained, right? With Heenan and Mongo.
Those two going at it, it works. If you don't have a dynamic with the third person is just kind of just there.
Right.
Like 2 is a right number. 3 sometimes.
3's a crowd.
Get carried away.
You get carried away, yeah. and then what happens is they become, one of them is going to be an irrelevant voice. No one's going to care. Like they're like, oh, what are you going to say? I don't know. You already said it.
One of them because what's the black guy name on WWE right now?
Oh, Brian one becomes Saxton.
Yeah, there we go, Byron Saxton.
He sucks.
And can anybody else agree with us on that one?
See, here's the thing.
What's his purpose?
You know what? I say that shit. Right, I'm sorry. I say that shit, but you know what, though? Damn, we got to talk about this episode. But I say that, but if they had Brian Saxton, that other idiot, who's not an idiot, I just can't remember his name right now. Dude with the tattoos.
Corey Graves.
Corey Graves. You get those two to be your commentators? I think you got something. Because you get the corny Brian Saxton, who could be the baby face. Corey Graves is like 3,000% a heel. So
Yeah.
whatever. That's my idea for that. But anyways, yeah. So like that's the setting. We're in Model of America. Sorry about that. We're talking about commentary, but like that's the setting. Yeah, man. Yeah. So as you can see, like this is where we talk a lot about wrestling, man. We have the same, we think the same. So it's like,
Can get it.
What's up?
All right, back to the match.
So all right, man. So yeah, first match of the night. Dude, Brian Pillman against Jushin Thunder Liger. For me,
legends of wrestling.
Yeah, man. I mean, Thunder Liger's been wrestling. I mean, he still wrestles every now and then till this day. Guy's a legend. Japan, America, phenomenal. Yeah. I mean,
Brian.
What's up? What's up? Say it again.
Brian Pillman here.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Crying Brian Pillman. My memory of Brian Pillman, right? I didn't see much of him in the ring. I only saw, like YouTube videos every now and then of Brian Pillman. The only thing I remember of Brian Pillman is Austin, like, whooping his ass. I'm just...
He pulled the gun out.
Right, like, I'm just... Yeah, like, that's just me. Like, that's... But then, I watched this match, man, and I'm like, dude, Pillman could work, man. Like, Brian Pillman, like, this match is... It's funny because when I watched this, I felt like the match lasted like 15, 20 minutes. But when I looked at the ring time, it's 6.
It wasn't the longest match. It felt like forever because... I don't know, it wasn't the greatest of matches, but I feel like with these two caliber athletes, it could have just been a lot better executed. Yeah. And I don't know if it's just because this was a match from 1995, but I feel like it left a lot to be desired. Headlocks and basic moves, and as you saw in that moonsault, I don't know if you can see the screen. Jushin Thunder hit a moonsault, and he actually botched it a little bit. It was short.
Yeah.
Brian Pillman is that good of a performer. He moved in a little bit closer because he just completely botches this.
Yep.
Ooh, that would have been short.
Yeah, I mean,
he almost died on the opening match on the opening episode of Nitro. Come on,
right, botch. And I mean, the thing about this is too, like, what doesn't help me too is that I don't know too much of the history leading into this Nitro episode. Because there's a lot of stuff that's happening that was weird for me, and I was like, but you know what? I don't know the lead up, right? I don't know what happened before we got here. So
you don't know any of the feuds or backstory because nothing is explained to anybody. They're just live from the Mall of America. You don't realize like who's feuding with who has the title belt. You don't know any of this information actually right now.
Right. I think I think it was clear as day as Hogan. I feel like they didn't have to mention that. It's like Hogan's the champ. All right, we got it.
Figured. Oh, you see that botch? Hurricanrana botch.
Yep.
By Brian Pillman. Another botchamania.
Oh man. Ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, what's surprising about this match the most was, like I said, like how, like, watching Brian Pillman work with Jushin Thunder Liger and like how well he did, right? Like I've never seen a Brian Pillman match. Like I said, like my experience with him is like him getting his ass up by Austin, like being a joke in WWF. I mean, this is before Austin, right? But I mean, like that's before that, nothing. But he's talented, man. Like he did a lot of cool stuff here with Jushin Thunder Liger. Like I thought the match was just okay, but to me it felt like it took forever for an opening match. Like I mean, they could have did anything else. Like they could have, I mean, anybody. I mean, I don't know who's on this roster at this point in time. Was Eddie Guerrero here at this point?
I don't think Eddie Guerrero. I think Eddie Guerrero, as you can see, people in the escalator. Eddie Guerrero, I believe, was still in ECW. Same with Dean Malenko.
Benoit.
I believe, this is why is acquiring these talents. Because Jushin Thunder, like, was he even here a year from now? Like, I'm not even really sure.
Yeah, I think Thunder was in, like, what, 97? Right?
Who knows? He's been in almost every company, which is why it's hard to track him.
Right.
But
right.
I'm assuming he did this because these are two high flyers. You could definitely see the potential in Brian Pillman, which is why he was a member of the Four Horsemen, which is why he had a feud with Stone Cold in WWF.
Right.
Classic move though. Like that's you can actually see the technical ability. Like,
oh yeah, no, you can see it. You can see it from Brian Pillman. I'm looking at it now. He's talented, man. I mean, unfortunately, like at this point in time, there weren't a lot of small guys getting over with the lucha libre style. I mean, no, I saw the botch of the Hurricanrana there, ooh. But if he were if Brian Pillman were here today, I think he'd be pretty popular, man. I think he'd pretty good.
Yeah.
Because I think they're actually
a good athlete.
Yeah, I mean, they would actually push this kind of wrestling nowadays. And shout out to WCW. I mean, because at this point, I don't remember any WWF and I have to go back, but I don't remember a WWF Raw episode during this point in time, having lucha libre, having smaller guys wrestle like this. I know Shawn was around. I know Bret Hart was, but not this. You know what I mean? Not the lucha libre stuff. I think WCW is a little bit ahead of its time there with showcasing that stuff. And again, it just this episode, where is it at? Mall of America. Oh shit. Eric Bischoff is he's thinking like that. You can see it through this episode what his thought process is, what he wants to push, and what the future of wrestling is. You
can see his ideas actually coming to fruition. He got some good ideas. He just eventually his ego and other people's ego just buried the company. You know how it was.
Oh, I know how it went. Right.
I'm sure.
Right.
All right. Let's talk about the ending of this match. So, how do you feel about the ending of this match?
Shitty. I think what was it here? I'm reminding myself what it is. Trying to figure out what happened. What? He kicks out. How did? I keep skipping. You know what? Maybe it's that bad. Every time I hit forward, it skips the ending. Hold on. So the ending is reverse German. Oh, into a what is that move called? So he reversed a German suplex, Brian Pillman, and then he goes.
It looks like a roll up, just a normal roll up, right?
It's a normal, basically a typical reversal roll up. Right.
Yeah, reverse it to a roll up.
Right.
It gets a 3 count on a.
I don't hate it. You know what? I don't hate the finish because at least for me, how I'm looking at it is this kind of you win it with a wrestling move, right? You win it with the reversal. It's not because the story of this match, at least for me, is you want to show how high flying and technical these guys are. Let's come up with a wrestling ending. Let's not come up with the finisher. You know what I mean? This is a wrestling ending right here. Okay, boom. I reversed it. I got your legs. You can't get out. Boom. 3 count. It's just the problem with me to this match is everything else. It's the beginning and middle. It felt like it was too long. You know what I mean? When I was watching it, and it I don't think it's on a Thunder Liger at all, or it just I don't know. You know what I mean? I just think it was an average match, and I was mostly surprised at Brian Pillman how he could perform in the ring. Thunder Liger, I know about, right? Brian Pillman, I know nothing about.
I'll give this match a 3 out of 5.
I'll give it about a 3 out of 5. I'll give it a 3 out of 5. I mean, I don't hate it. For me, like I said, the match was 6 minutes. It felt like it was 20. I don't know why. I don't know why.
It used to be too high flying. This really felt like a slow moving match.
Yeah, it felt like a slow moving match, which is weird. I felt like the tempo needed to be bigger. So then, all right. So then that's the match. That's how we start the show, right? So now we get into some fun shit here. Okay, so now we get Sting cutting a promo, because right now, second match of this.
TGI Friday. It looks like he's just
TGI Fridays, yeah. So right now, Sting cuts a promo, I guess, putting his match over with Flair. That's the second match. See, this match, if I were to change anything about this show, right? For me, I would have started this match with Sting Flair. You see what I'm saying? I would have started this match with Sting Flair, then going to Pillman.
And really disrespect two vets like that and start them up.
No, what better way? No. What better way to start a show than with your two your two legends, right? I mean, Sting's been with WCW for God knows how long. Flair has been, NWA, then WCW, then WWF, then back WCW. Like, these two guys, no matter Sting and Flair can never have a bad match. Like, every time I watch them, they're good. Like, what you do is
always have a class.
Yeah, I would have started with this, then you know what, get the crowd excited, right? Because the Liger Pillman match, like, the crowd was just like, eh. You know what I mean? You kind of want to get the crowd up, right? You know what I mean? Like, let's start them off. Let's get them excited.
They were kind of sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're still kind of like, this would have done it. And then what you do is you have Liger and Pillman come on next. No one will care, but you know what? That'll settle the crowd down. Then you get excited again. Like, you know what I mean? You do something else that's exciting, right? But either way, that's how the format of them. That's how it went. So Flair does his promo. Sting does his promo. Then we go to our most exciting thing ever, Pasta Mania.
We have to address Pasta Mania. We
gotta address Pasta Mania. Hulk Hogan putting over Pasta. I don't remember every single word he says, but I'm seeing young Eric Bischoff going to this place right now with a whole bunch of kids. Notice, by the way, no adults. And why that's important is because you got to remember, nobody in WCW, from a fan perspective, they weren't digging Hulk Hogan. Like, Hulk Hogan, at this point in time, was John Cena. Like, okay? Like, they did not like him. They were not receptive of Hulk Hogan at all. All right? So, the kids clearly love Hulk Hogan. Like, if you're a kid, you're not going to like Hulk Hogan, all right? So, Bischoff's like, okay, we got it. Let's do it. Let's have the kids around. Whatever. We'll get a cheap little pop out of this. The kids will eat the pasta, whatever. But, like, I don't know, but, like, do you remember everything Hogan said in this promo? Because I don't.
I remember most of it. I can kind of give a backstory, too. What was going on at the time is, obviously, Hogan had came back to wrestling, signed with WCW after kind of his show Days of Thunder, I think it was called, or Thunder in Paradise. Is that what it was called?
Yeah, Thunder in Paradise.
Thunder in Paradise kind of fizzled out. He came back and he got the wrestling itch and came back to WCW. But one of his other side ventures at this time happened to be a restaurant. And the restaurant was called Pasta Mania. Kind of gimmicked off of his Hulkamania theme. It was Hulkamania colored theme and had his merchandise and apparel sold there as well. So he has a Pasta Mania in the Mall America, which conveniently we're so he gives his promo and his shoot in front of these kids, and Eric Bischoff is getting the interview, and Hulk Hogan is just basically shooting basically a cheap promo for his restaurant is what I kind of got out of this. He basically goes, what you gonna do, brother, when Hulk Hogan and the Pasta Maniacs run wild all over you? And he kind of mentions his title defense later tonight against Big Bubba is his name, which we'll talk about later, which is the main event of the show. But he gives a nice Hulk Hogan typical eat your vitamins and say
your prayers, brother.
And gives a cheap promo to his Pasta Mania, which I'm sure was garbage. I never had it. I never heard of it until I saw this promo, so I'm probably better off with never eating it.
Right. Like, first off, I didn't know Hogan had... Okay, now I know the whole story. See, I didn't know Hogan had a side venture of Pasta Mania. Oh, God.
Mania, brother.
Oh, that makes it even better. Jeez.
Just to notice Hulk Hogan war bonnet, man.
This was like Hulk Hogan's last hurrah to, like, get sales at his fucking restaurants. We're gonna cut this promo, brother. All about Pasta Mania, and we're gonna raise the sales. Don't worry about it. The kids are gonna come by. They're gonna eat the pasta, and they're gonna love it, brother. Yeah.
I don't know exactly what classifies you as a Pasta Maniac either, but he apparently it excited the crowd. So look, he's passing out autographed Hulk Hogan. Looks like pictures to the kids. I see a kid in the background holding a Hogan action figure.
All right,
definitely don't see that a lot. Oh yeah, I forgot the Mouth of the South. Jimmy Hart.
Jimmy Hart is behind him.
Shout out to Jimmy Hart, man.
Shout out to dude. He still looks the same, by the way. He was yeah.
A heel manager and a babyface manager all at the same time. Niggas couldn't figure out what she was doing.
Dude, so like Jimmy Hart. You see the kid with the glasses, like just like trying to get trying to get his screen time, or her. I'm sorry, I apologize. But like it's just the fact that like. And here's the thing, I watched this, and now I get why people fucking hated Hulk Hogan in '95.
Yeah, this is hardball shit right here.
I mean, if you're an adult watching this shit, you're like, man, fuck this guy, dude.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
In the background, on his menu of Pasta Man is Hulk Hogan with a chef hat.
Oh, it is! It is!
12 minute and 41 seconds.
Oh my god. Like, how corny can you get with this shit?
I guess it's, man, look, I never had my own restaurant, so
Me
can't really speak on if this is bad business or not.
I think it was bad. I mean, we don't hear anything about Hulk Hogan's Pasta Mania anymore, do we?
I just never want to speak on Pasta Mania.
Hulk Hogan's Pasta. He has a chef hat out. Dude, I mean, I gotta say this, man. Hogan, look, he gets all the credit in the world for pulling this off, man. Like, I guarantee you, in the back of his mind right now, he hates the ever-loving shit out of this right now. Like, you can see, he has the look on his face right now that's like, yeah, I'm cutting this promo. Like, this is my life.
You need it.
Yeah. He's like, yeah. He's like, this is where I'm at.
This is why Booker T was coming for you. This is why Booker T's been coming for you since 95.
Since 95, man, because of this.
Coming for you!
Coming for you, Hogan! Yeah. So.
Alright, let's go through
Alright, man. So that's. We go to Flair versus Hogan. I mean, I'm sorry. Flair versus Sting. I'm sorry. And.
Stinger. Back for Sting.
Right. This is okay, so now you guys got to understand. This is Sting like Surfer Sting. Okay, this is like prime Sting. And let me tell you something right now, dude. Like, watching him in this match, man, it just irritates me. What's up? What happened?
Yeah. Forgot about no. Keep going.
Yeah, it just irritates me. It irritates me about because Sting was so good in the ring, man. Like, you watch it, he was a fucking athlete.
Oh,
like,
he was the best player. I don't care. Like, it wasn't no Hulk Hogan. He was actually the best wrestler.
Oh yeah.
In my opinion.
Oh, between the two, I don't think Hogan is anywhere near Sting.
Yeah, I'll have to look at wrestling ranking magazines back then in '95 and see. I would think it would have to be between one of these two.
It would have to be. And I mean, Flair. I mean, and here's the thing: like Flair and Sting.
Bret Hart,
oh, go ahead.
Bret Hart probably up there.
Bret Hart's up there. No, you're good. But no, like for me, it's like, and on top of that, like these are two like right now I would say, like for top guys, right? I mean, Flair and Sting have had a history. I mean, I think they had the Great American. I think they might have had a match at the Great American Bash for the title, early '90s, which is pretty good. I mean, I was watching their old matches. Any matches with these two in it was just you couldn't have a bad match between these two. That's how good they were, and their chemistry with each other in the ring. Just the athlete Sting is though, like the shit he's doing in this match, it just blows my mind.
Speed, technical.
Speed, ability, charisma. You know. Oh wait, hold on. Did I miss something here? Oh wait, we did. I think we did. Hold on. I know why. Because our favorite person of the digs, we're gonna get because the ending to this episode is fucking epic. So
you already know.
I'm sorry.
Immediately interrupted.
Right.
We're talking about the outside interference.
We're talking about the
Mr.
Lex Luger.
The narcissist in a blouse shirt. The total package is what he was labeled as in WCW.
Right.
Total package Lex Luger comes out and just stands before the match basically starts and kind of looks on, and the announcers go wild. You know, he just stands there and.
Right.
Ric Flair tries to send them away. So WCW security looks like they come out, kind of walk Luger away. And the match actually eventually starts. But this is exciting news because I believe it was the night before, the week before, Luger is a member of WWF.
Yeah, and this was the first salvo. Like, this was the first shot in the Monday Night War. Luger coming to WCW. And now, I wasn't a Lex Luger mark in fucking... Even when I was a kid, I was like, who the fuck? Like, to me, he was just like...
the muscle guy.
Yeah. There was nothing... I mean, his finishers... I'm sorry. Lex Luger has one of the worst finishers in the business.
Okay. Which finisher? Remember, he had two different finishers.
He had two?
His WWF finisher was the flying forearm because the story was he had a metal rod in his forearm. I don't know if you remember that. So he
I don't.
Into their face off the rope.
I didn't know that, dude. So wait a minute. When does Luger come in? Luger comes in after Flair's entrance or before?
After Flair's entrance. So both of the guys are at the 15-minute mark, I would say. Luger comes into the match.
Okay.
Or to the side of the ring. One of the entrances by the Great Train store you can see, wearing a nice blouse. And he just stands there. Nice wavy mullet.
Oh, there he is. Okay. I'm seeing it now. He's walking to the ring in his blazer. Man, I gotta say though, Luger's mullet, top tier. That's gotta be one of the best mullets of all time.
Classic Georgia mullet right there.
Absolutely. That's when mullets were in, man. Girls were going crazy for the mullet. Luger?
Quick fact about Lex Luger, though, before we move on.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Lex Luger was at one point in time the youngest member of the CFL football team. He also was a member of the I believe it's 82 or 83 Green Bay Packer team. Just for people that didn't know that about Lex Luger. He was one hell of an athlete. He was legit. He was a legit athlete. A lot of people don't know those two facts about Lex Luger. He was the youngest member of the CFL, so it's just like, see, even right now, you're flabbergasted. He was a member of the Packers, so.
I didn't know that. Maybe I should do some more research on Lex Luger. Maybe I'm too hard on Luger. I just hate his finisher. His finisher is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. You ready? Here it is. He puts you on his fucking... It just jumps up and down. Like, that doesn't hurt, man. Like... Whatever, though. You know what, though? You know what? Lex Luger had the body. He had the look. I mean, character was whatever. Because how he was built... How I remember in WWF was, like... He was, like, supposed to... Like, to me, he was, like Captain America. Because, remember, Yokozuna at that time was, like, the champion. He was, like, the American hero. You know... Muscles everywhere. Fucking... He got the look, right?
Was supposed to take over the reins for Hulk Hogan when Hulk Hogan retired.
Right. He was supposed to do that. They got
Lex Luger to be the new face of the WWF. So seeing him here to the competition, like we said, is really devastating. Just like we said, this is the first chess piece in a bunch of many moves that WCW was going to make, and eventually WWF will counter with a couple of moves. And you know, we'll talk later in future videos and podcasts.
Yeah, about that. Yeah, because there's a lot.
Back to the great blouse here. You know, he's standing ringside here looking at... You know, he used to obviously do Ric Flair. He was former friends with Sting, who he also feuded with at one time in old WCW days. Right. So he's back. But obviously they know him.
Right, right. You had to be under a rock to not know. And this is a big deal. Like, to do that was a huge deal. You know,
a huge deal. What WWF didn't know is a week prior, Luger's contract expired. Instead of renegotiating beforehand, they let it expire. WCW immediately signed him. So they dropped the ball on that one. That's one of Vince's many mistakes. But actually, if you think about it in the fold of the long run, it might not have been a mistake. So, yeah, we'll get into these details.
Like, I don't... You see, like, let's get like this. Now we get typical Flair Sting. They get into the match because Luger showed up, and they're like, "Oh my God, we're in shock." And it just everything they do in this match, right?
This is perfect.
Right. This is perfect. The crowd is up. They're excited, and now we're up. Now we're watching Flair. Mm-hmm. And at this point in time, Sting is the U.S. champion too. So he's like. So right now, clearly, Bischoff's, got Sting primed. Okay, listen, you're the up-and-coming guy. We're going to put the U.S. title on you. Hogan's the main guy right now. He's the main champion. And
Sting was a standout dude for letting that because he carried the company. Him and Flair carried this company. And for him and Flair to take a backseat, it just shows you kind of full Hogan had to even get into this company. Because I believe Hogan won the title maybe within a month of him signing with WCW.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fast. Like, Ric Flair didn't even have that in WWF, dude. So,
exactly.
I mean,
get into the fact.
Yeah.
It starts out, right? What do you think? I think it was, they, like you said, they got great chemistry. They go back
It's not great chemistry, man.
Honest, I was surprised. This is what I take from the match. I saw 3 Gorilla Press slams by Sting, which I'm actually surprised with because he doesn't look like he's that strong. But he actually is pretty strong.
He is. And the other thing is, too, Flair is that... Because Flair does that spot a lot. Flair does that spot a lot with the whole Gorilla Plus slam. And if he trusts you, he'll let you pick him up. Like, Flair, it's on both.
He'll help you.
He'll help you. Right.
Right.
He'll help you. And then now we're getting... Like, I'm at the point in the match. So they did their little... they went off the ropes. They countered each other for a little bit, shoulder tackles, all that stuff. Sting hits a drop kick, and then here he goes. I think I'm seeing a second Gorilla Press slam here, and just look how Flair sells it. And then Flair kick to the stomach, throws Sting to the ropes.
Sting with the crowd, man, it's
right. And then Flair with the body press, knocking Sting out of the ring. You see, like all this
Flair chop.
Yeah, all this looks like this match is old as shit, but I'm into it. You know what I'm saying? Like. That's how good these two were. And then you know what I mean? Like, and then Flair with the knife edge chops, this thing. Like, it's just all like, hey, another Gorilla Press slam. Here we go. Man, Flair is fucking, oh my God. Throws him to the second rope. Like, and then here we go, Flair with the typical, no.
Looking at this match, it just shows you how good he is.
Right.
Sting doesn't sell his punches or his chops anymore, and he stings up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And then Flair with the Sting with the bulldog. I haven't seen a bulldog in God knows how long.
Yeah, oh yeah. Classic Flair move. This just shows you, like, when these two were in their prime, like we said, another Gorilla Press slam into the ring this time.
Right, like, it's just, man, they're just so good, man. And this match to me. Like, I think this ended... Okay, now this is where I wish I knew the lead-up, right? Because we could keep talking about the rest of the match. Like, I love this match. This match is probably the best on the card. Like, Flair... And there's no finish to this, by the way. Like, the finish to this is... And that's where we got to get into, like, I don't know, the entire history lead-up into this. Because I didn't know... Because now we get into it. I mean, we have... Right now, Sting is, like, just laying punches into him. Yeah, so we get to the end of this match. And...
Arn Anderson.
Yes. Arn Anderson shows up, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm like, Arn Anderson is like Ric Flair's soulmate. And I'm like, what's going on here?
They were friends forever.
Right, exactly.
He shows up in a Nike. We're kind of confused because there's no wind inside the Mall of America. It's goddamn Mall of America.
Right.
But he shows up in the wind. He jumps in the ring. Flair immediately punches him right square in his mouth.
Dude,
so go at it.
That punch was... So now, yeah, Flair... Yep, here he goes. Arn Anderson's taking off the jacket. Dude, okay, these punches, like right here. Like, bro, both those punches look legit. Like when Flair threw his, and then Arn Anderson threw his, they look like real fucking punches. Like they.
The reason why they looked legit, Luke, is because they were legit. That's fucking
yeah. Yeah,
He really punched that man.
that's true. Yeah, he's like, I'm really gonna knock your teeth off, Flair. You know, like I'm just gonna. Yep.
Those two guys go at it, and they go. And Flair, he sells iron like a good sportsman does. He sells iron, and he retreats to the back, and iron follows him. But what happens after that is somebody that a lot of people may not know. Scott Norton apparently comes out and starts messing with Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yeah.
Starts screaming and asking about Macho Man Randy Savage.
That I gotta say, this is random to me.
No lead up. We're not really sure who this man is, for one, because he's kind of like a fat white guy with a tan and a gold chain. It's random. And so, he starts coming out and screaming how he's wondering where Macho Man is, and screaming at Eric Bischoff about he wants Macho Man, and he's pushing around Eric Bischoff.
Right.
And Macho stands up to defend him, and it's just.
I was so confused by this. I was like, why? And dude, Scott Norton is just all muscle, nothing else, and just no look. Like, I mean, dude's a cannonball. Like, he's
a lot of people don't know that Scott Norton was actually. This is another history fact, ladies and gentlemen. He's actually a well-decorated wrestler in New Japan. At this time, he might have been either the North American champion or the IWGP Heavyweight champion. He was one of the two at the time for New Japan as well, because at this time, WCW definitely did cross promotion, which is why they had a lot of stars like Ultimo Dragon and his 13 title belt. Who definitely do a story on Ultimo Dragon and his 13 title belt.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that.
It made sense, but I'll help people make sense out of that.
I love this. So we're getting into this argument. So like Scott Norton is now Macho Man is in Scott Norton's face. Okay, so and then next thing you know, Macho Man goes into the ring, and he's just on the turnbuckle, like just calling him in to come in and shit like that, and like they're trying to hold back Norton and all this. Also, so it's just a random thing. I felt like this was out of place. To me, I felt like they're writing this show and they're like, okay, we don't know how to fill these 2 minutes here, and they're like, okay, Scott Norton.
What? I'll give you my thoughts on this. And this is my thoughts.
Yeah,
I understand the purpose after you kind of watch the whole segment at the end, where before Bischoff tells him to go to commercial break. Basically, what you find out when you come back from commercial break is this match is booked for next week's episode of Monday Nitro. So they're trying to build it up with some heat. We don't know if they've been feuding or not because this is the first episode.
Yeah, we don't know. Like, half these feuds are like, I didn't even know Arn. What shocked me the most out of this entire... No, there's not the shocked me the most. The fact that Arn Anderson and Ric Flair are feuding. That shit, like, I was like, whoa!
What's up with the Four Horsemen?
What's up with the Four Horsemen? Right!
If
I have no idea. And I mean, Bischoff, maybe I didn't catch it, but I don't hear any explanation of it, like, in the commentary.
Without them having a weekly show, I'm honestly curious how their storylines were progressing.
Right.
It's actually really confusing. We're
right.
like, oh, Scott Norton and Macho Man are beefing.
Right.
But I understand the point of this segment, though. For one, if people didn't know Macho Man was in WCW, he was a huge star at the time. This leads you to want to watch the second episode of Nitro, which will keep you,
yeah, right. I get it. I get it.
So I get it. It was just random at the time because
it was really random. It was random.
Idiots screaming at each other.
Right. It's just.
But it's 90s wrestling, baby. At its finest.
Exactly. It's 90s. That's all I can chalk it up to. And also, we do got to remember that they're also leading into Fall Brawl. So, War Games or whatever.
Got a huge pay-per-view coming up, so they gotta,
Dude, I'm loving the fact that there are people. I'm just looking at it. There's people, like we talked about this earlier. People on the escalators going up and just watching, like, dude, there had to be a loss for this episode. Like at the gate, there had to be. Come on.
You already know. You already know.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
also,
keep this episode moving.
yeah. So also, Sabu. After this, Sabu was dropped. I never saw him wrestle in WCW, but Sabu was dropped, and now we get IRS.
Michael Wall Street in WCW.
Michael Wall Street in WCW.
He takes a shot at the IRS watching. I don't know if you remember the promo. He says the IRS is watching.
Yeah, you gotta drop a line about people. You know,
he's wearing a Sears suit with a money sign on it because apparently that means you're wealthy if you have a money sign on it.
Right.
Scrooge McDuck style.
Scrooge McDuck. If you have a money sign on your suit, kids, that means you're rich.
These are two well-respected wrestlers that have been in the industry for a long time. It's almost surprising when you see Sabu.
Yeah.
It's like, Sabu?
Yeah, I was like, that was random, like Sabu. Okay. So Bischoff's pulling off all the stops, you know what I mean? Like, see, here's the thing. So what I like about it is that Bischoff looks like he's in the know of hot superstars at the time and bringing them in, right? Which is a knock on WWE now. Granted, they get these guys, but I mean, one of the worst things Vince has ever done was, well, I don't know if you know the story, but he brings in AJ Styles, right? And AJ Styles in the Royal Rumble. AJ Styles gets a big fucking pop, and if you know anything about wrestling, you know why AJ Styles getting a big fucking pop, because it's AJ fucking Styles. If you haven't watched wrestling the past 10, 12 years, I don't know what to tell you. AJ goes to Vince, and Vince asks him, like, I don't understand why you got a pop. Vince said that. He didn't understand it. So it's like, dude, are you that out of... See, that's the thing. Bischoff had had a pulse for it. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I know Jushin Thunder Liger's popular. I know, Lucha Libre's popular. I know, just he knows, bro. He knows the talent. He knows what to do. Like, he was ahead of his time at this point in this episode. Like, you can see it. Granted, he got some goofy shit, but you can see like little things, man. It's like this is stuff that we're missing now in wrestling a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
So now we get into the main event, guys, because we talked about all the other shit, and we got Hulk Hogan and not the Big Boss Man. I forgot his name at this point. What was his name again?
Big Bubba.
Big Bubba. And I love this. He's in a casual suit. He's got suspenders on. I never ever thought I would ever see the Big Boss Man in the main event on a Nitro. Well, this is their first episode, and your main event is with Big Bubba. And, yeah. So, this match is a typical Hogan match, right?
It looks like WCW has a discount with Sears because Big Bubba's wearing Sears 1995 winter season blue blazer.
Oh, it's funny, dude. Okay, what I love about this right now is like Big Bubba. You notice like he just rips the buttons off his shirt. All you see, you just see his body, dude. And I mean, oh my god,
outfit. What does his outfit have to do with his name?
Nothing.
Is he like
nothing?
Disgruntled worker? Is that what he is?
Right. If you have you ever seen a guy named Big Bubba work in a corporate office? They wouldn't even get hired.
Oh.
So I'm so confused at either the whole. Because when I see Big Bubba, I'm expecting Southern gear or some shit. Maybe overalls or some truck driver, some shit. But he's in like a corporate. Yeah, John Deere had something. He's in a fucking suit. And it's like, I'm so confused at this character. Like, I don't get the Big Bubba. Like, I can tell the Big Boss Man hates this. Like, well, granted, he's making money right now because he's in the main event with Hogan. And this match is a typical Hogan match, guys. Hogan is, he does his thing in the beginning, shoulder block, Big Bubba falls down, whatever. And, Hogan, Big Bubba's getting his work in, and You know, he's beating on Hogan a little bit. Hogan comes around. He grabs Big Bubba, hits his head in the turnbuckle like 10 times. Now he's wailing on him. You know, like, this is a typical Hogan match.
He controls most of it. Like you said, typical Hogan. He controls the pace. He dictates when he wants to get hurt. He gets hurt a majority of the match before he stops getting hurt.
Dude.
And apparently has no weakness.
At this point, like I'm looking at Hogan, and here's the other thing, too. I can see just look-wise, he just doesn't look... He looks old. He doesn't look great in the yellow and red. Like, it feels out of place for him. Right?
Yeah.
And you can the crowd isn't digging it. Like, the crowd isn't really into it. Like, it's just...
You can look at him and tell that...
Oh, what a terrible probably been there.
The sidewalk, Sam.
Right. It's just...
Lovely.
Nobody's buying into the... I'm walking up, guys. Like, it's just... It's so off... I don't know, dude.
Even watching it now, like, it's like... His gimmick sucks.
It sucks.
You know what was crazy? I don't know if you remember this spot. I think it's at the 35-minute and 15-second mark. Hulk Hogan's on top of Big Bubba, wailing on him.
He said,
referee pulled Hogan off by pulling what's left of his hair.
Yeah. Oh, no way. That's why is the ref... Wait, here's the thing about this, too. You gotta understand. So, like, this was the beginning. So, like, it's funny to me that Hulk Hogan's a babyface, but he's doing heel shit.
Dirty shit. He poked him in the eye. He's hitting him past the 5 count. He's doing a lot of shit.
A lot of heel shit. He's a heel. Like, he's not working as a babyface, which is weird.
I think he was trying to work as a heel long time before, but nobody would just buy it because it was stupid fucking his outfit.
Yeah, his outfit was stupid. I mean, his bald hair. I mean, he looks stupid at this point. You know?
To this day, don't understand his hairstyle or Terry Bradshaw's hairstyle.
Right.
Anybody
Also,
hair in the back.
We also do have to keep in mind this is post steroid, like Hogan too.
Oh yeah.
So he looks smaller.
He's definitely visibly smaller.
Right. So it's just... And now Hogan is choking him. Okay, so here's the thing that I'm confused about. You got... Okay, he's the babyface, right? So now I'm starting to understand why this isn't working. Like, the problem is, and this is the problem with wrestling now, is like, you have... Well, not really, but he's a babyface and he's operating as a heel, and you're trying to find out why nobody's cheering for him. Look what the fuck he's doing in the ring. Like, he's choking out Big Bubba. Like, literally. Jimmy Hart is distracting. This is heel shit. Jimmy Hart is distracting the ref. Hulk Hogan is choking the shit out of Big Bubba with a cloth.
And he was trying to suffocate him. It looks like it was
right
over his face and punched him.
Right.
Like some hockey shit, right?
Right.
Hockey.
And now the ref gets over it, stops it, and they throw out the fucking thing. Okay, cool. Like,
this match is 1-star match. Let's
just cut to the fucking chase, because I'm like, get it? Hogan wins. He wins clean, I think. Right? Sidewalk slam. Hogan's Hulk. Okay, now he's hulking up. He's hulking up. Oh wait, does he? Leg drop. 3 count.
Comes out.
Dude, okay. Oh god, that was fucking amazing. Did you see the ref?
I did.
That was the most athletic thing. That is the most athletic thing I saw in this match. The ref jumping over Hogan.
He jumped over Hulk Hogan to start the count.
That was sick.
He literally cleared 2 men.
That was sick.
I know that. Shout out to that ref and his trainer, bro. Like,
right.
We gotta pay respect.
That motherfucker.
Hogan wins the match. He starts hulking up and flexing before the crowd. And what was this? The Dungeon of Doom? Dungeon of Doom with another of those old stupid gimmicks like I talked about. The guy that was a shark. There's a guy that's like an African warrior. I'm pretty sure that's just racist.
I don't know. Maybe I don't even know. Also, out comes the Dungeon of Doom because remember they're having a 6-man tag or some shit at War Games or Fall Brawl, right? Against and the other thing is too, this is also part of the old Hogan, we're gonna turn you to the dark side and blah 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 blah, and then fucking this is the whole Hogan, and here out comes here's the thing, now out comes Luger, right? Luger, the new guy in town, came from WWF. He's the enemy. He comes in and helps out the Hulkster, right? And now they bump into each other. Now we gotta have, because you gotta remember at this point in time, like Hogan, number one babyface probably, and then Luger was like hot. Luger was fucking ridiculous in WWF. With the look and everything. So, like they're thinking, okay, we want to settle a match with these two at some point to make some money off these two guys. You know what I'm saying? So, I think Bischoff's thinking is, okay, how are we going to start this? Okay, well, Luger, come in, help out Hogan with this thing, and then you're going to act like the bad guy because, we don't want to trust you because you're the new guy, right? Nobody, you're WWF, right? So,
you're an outsider,
Right, like, why are you here? You know what I mean? Like, this is good shit right here. I like this so far. This is good. Like, this is what you do.
Everybody what Luger says, basically. What is Luger's explanation for why he showed up at the Mall of America?
And this is where this is where it gets bad, though, guys. This is where it gets bad. We're getting there.
House, and he just happened to see Hogan was in a match. Is
that
what's going on?
Right.
Shopping for brownies.
So now, at this point, now we're selling this, right? So now we're going to commercial, but we're going to end Nitro with this whole Luger's in the ring with Hogan kind of thing. So now Sting and Macho Man join the ring because they're on Hogan's team against the Dungeon of Doom or whatever the fuck it is.
Fourth man, Vader is MIA. Let's not forget that Vader is MIA.
Yeah, where's Vader?
I think honestly, I thought at this time he signed with WWF. I'm like, in '95, wasn't he in WWF?
No, I think he's in WCW. Yeah, he should be. Well, here's the thing. He was featured in a commercial that I just watched.
Obviously, he was here, but I'm like, where
was he?
He wasn't at work.
Right.
Is what we need to get to the bottom of, which we will.
We will. So, like, here we go. I don't know either. So here we go, guys. Now we're getting into the promos, right? Now we're on the mic, right? So now Hogan is going into his whole fucking thing of, I don't trust you, Luger. What are you doing here? Blah, blah. I'll just, and Luger goes into his whole explanation, right? So go, as a matter of fact, if you remember this word for word, go for it. Because Luger says some shit
word
here.
For word, but I can give you a pretty good feedback of what he said. He said he's been down the same roads that Hogan's been in, and he's been in the same types of matches with the same people. And he's tired of playing with little boys. He came to play with the big boys. He wants to play with you.
The best part about that shit, if anybody watches this, the best part about this is Mean Gene's reaction when he said that. Mean Gene is like, we're done. Like, we just did one episode of Nitro. We're finished. He's like, that line there, the soccer moms are going to line up and we're going to get fucking canceled tomorrow. If this was today, dude, like. It was so funny. It was so funny, but yeah.
Actually, you might need to get a screenshot of Mean Gene's face. He says, I'm sick and tired of playing around with kids. He wants to play around with you. It's what he tells Hogan.
That's what he tells Hogan. It's like,
sick and tired of playing around
with little kids. It's like, Lex, did you think about that before you, did you rehearse this a few times? Did you think about what you were saying? Like,
Mean Gene, his face says it all. He fixes his glasses and says, wow.
I can't.
Hogan, of course, the typical Hogan grabs the belt and throws it in the other guy's face
Right.
and keeps the finger out because Hogan, he'll never just flat out just stick a guy in his mouth. He'll finger point.
Right, he's finger pointing like, I don't trust you, Luger. Blah, blah, you know what I mean? You want a shot this title, brother? I'll give it to you next week. Then, next week we get...
and of course, he shoves Luger.
He shoves Luger.
He shoves him.
Right. And then
they get into the oven match, and then I don't know who it was. Oh, Sting. He tells him to knock. He convinces him to knock it off. He's like, "This is the team, you guys.
Right.
Don't you see it right here in front of us with Vader being out? Luger's the perfect replacement, right?
Perfect replacement. Yep.
And Macho Man, because he knows a conspiracy when he sees one. Let me tell you about Macho Man and conspiracies.
Yeah.
He doesn't trust Luger one bit. He votes him off the team. Sting votes him on the
Right.
1-1. So Hogan has to decide and vote whether Luger's on the team or not.
Right.
What does Hogan do, Lou? Why don't you explain?
And then I just love how Hogan, like, it's just, this is all heel shit. Like, and then Hogan's pushing Luger and just like, this is so funny. Like, he's trying to be the babyface and do heel shit to get over, and it's just not working.
He's throwing his belt in his face and smacking his hand.
Right.
That's your baby.
Right, that's your babyface. Heel, I guess. And then you got Mongo at the end. Dude, Steve Mongo McMichael has a fucking little chihuahua in his fucking hand right now. What a devil.
Yep.
And the dog's trying to go to sleep.
The first episode of Nitro ends. They fade out. Eric Bischoff sends us home, and that's the first episode of Nitro.
That's the first episode of Nitro, man. But I gotta say, that is a hell of a first episode. Outside of a few weird things they did or whatever.
Minus the two outside interferences. I mean, it was three matches to have two outside interferences. I think might be a little bit heavy. But, I mean, Arn Anderson, he was in his windbreaker, and you know what that means. That means it's double A time.
Yep.
He's dropping for a mouse. It just happened to be the way the wind was blowing, I guess.
Right. Dude.
Tired of playing with kids,
Yeah, that shit, like, I laugh. When Luger said, I'm tired of playing with little kids, dude, I couldn't stop laughing. I'm like, oh, Lex. I'm like, I was like, dude, you suck so badly, you can't even get this one right. Like, you just can't, like, you didn't think about that before you said it. Like,
he was in what? He was in wrestling business for what, like 30 years? And he still can't cut a promo.
No, he can't.
He's just not good.
He can't do anything. He's a big bodybuilder. That's it. He's a bodybuilder, oils himself up, and fucking torture acts. That's his. That movie is the worst.
He just rub baby oil on himself and flex. That's
right. He peaked at Lex Express, and that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, that was.
Overall, though, for to get viewers into Nitro, though, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5.
I give it a 3.
I feel like the Brian Pillman and Jushin Thunder Liger match, it was okay, but it could have been better. And Hogan versus Bubba, that as your main event, that's a hard sell for me, even in 1995. That's a hard sell for me.
Nobody liked that match. I don't care who you were. Even the crowd, they didn't like that match. No, not at all.
But at the time, I don't know what was available at the time.
Right. But who was available? Right.
We need to know more about the roster, and
Right. You need to know more about the roster, what Eric had to work with. Right. I mean, on top of that, you had to do this is the first episode, so you probably had to take care of who's debuting, who's coming up, what do I have, and then like the big. I feel like the point of this show was Luger. Like, that was the big thing. Like, we got Lex Luger. And this is the salvo to start the Monday Night Wars. We took a guy from WWF, and he's here on our first episode. That was the point of the show.
He takes shots at WWF, so obviously that was scripted for what he was saying.
Right.
WCW at the time was Big Boys Play.
Oh, God. Oh,
which is another slogan, but we're the Big Boy. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. Where the Big Boys... Yeah, is this where the Big Boys play? Like, Jesus, dude. Oh, my God.
Some definitely some '90s wrestling and gimmicks
Dude,
going
90s
on.
wrestling is
I can
something
tell
else.
you how I personally feel because remember I said I actually watched this live as a 11-year-old kid. I wanted more of it. Actually, I was sold because at the time, we only had one thing going on TV. Really, was Monday Night Raw. It was
Right.
wrestling was only on one day a week. It was only WWF, and it was Monday.
Right.
Like, you could probably catch it on Saturday. I think they had like a program on Saturday mornings, I believe, where they would like replays like what happened Monday.
They used to.
Talk.
Yes, they used. That's
Yeah,
how I would
I think
catch up. Yeah.
Superstars, I believe it was called. But
Yep.
I loved it. It was my first chance to really experience seeing Sting. This was actually my first time seeing Sting wrestle, so I thought it was dope.
Yep.
I was aware of all those guys, Ric Flair and Sting and all that. I just never saw them on TV. So my first chance seeing this and actually just having more wrestling, me, it was super exciting and super dope. I was like, now it was like my whole night.
Right.
I just been watching wrestling. I didn't think about the impact of them two directly competing with each other. I thought it was just super exciting. Like, when one was on a commercial, I would switch to the other, or depending on which match was better, I would constantly switch back and forth. I was in every episode of the Monday Night Wars. I saw all of that shit.
Yep. I mean, that was the best time. Like from 95 till about 99. Not even 99, 'cause 99, that's when WCW. 98. Like between those between that 3-year time frame was the best time, at least in my opinion, to watch wrestling on the Monday night. Like Nitro, and granted, I cannot for the life of me as an adult now. I was surprised I was able to get through that episode. I cannot get through a whole episode of fucking Nitro. Like as a kid,
me neither.
I can't.
I skipped through a lot. A lot of it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense, and it's like as a kid, I used to watch. You know what's funny? As I think about this shit, I never watched. Okay, so I never watched shows fully. Like I would go back and forth and fucking watch shit every now and then. If I liked it, if I liked it, with something. If I didn't like it, I went to the other channel. If I did like it, I would just stay there. So yeah,
too.
Right. So like even now, like even when WCW was at its height, because as a kid I always thought WWF was better. No matter what, nobody could change my opinion on that. I always thought WWF was better, made the better product. Granted, ratings set differently, but I always thought WWF was better. Period. But like now, like because when I was a kid, I used to watch like Sting, Goldberg. I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. Like now, I watch, I'm like, dude, this isn't good TV. Like, you know what I mean? WCW's just not good. Nothing was good about the shows. Like, outside of the NWO, like, the NWO did some crazy shit every now. Like, every time they jumped somebody, I felt like that was the height of the show. They went out and jumped somebody, and then that's it. Like, that was your excitement.
For a while, because it's like, it's 30 guys against, like, 4 guys. It would just get old after a while. So why is 90% of the roster in the NWO? I understand the point.
The whole roster, yeah.
It's Virgil, or what was his name in WCW? It wasn't Virgil.
It was Virgil.
Vincent.
Vincent, I'm sorry. Yes.
Like, why is he in it? Right? Like,
and what was his purpose?
In it?
Yeah, like what did he provide? He was just he was a jobber in the NWO. Like, it was too much. Like, you could, like, what's sad is like, you look at that first episode, you see where like Bischoff's mind was headed. It just went to shit. Like, what can you say? But for a first episode, man, I gave it 3 out of 5. Like, for me, I enjoyed it. Like, I liked it. The wrestling was good. Like, for me, like Sting Flair, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Sting Flair was the best match. I mean, what we have 3 matches on the card. What was it for the main roster? It was for the main card. It was.
The show itself is only 45 minutes. That just shows you how light it was. That only had to be on TV for an hour.
For a 45-minute show, I felt like it flowed well. Like, you had a beginning, middle, end. I wasn't bored watching it. It was just like
quick. I can tell you that 45 minutes went by quick, and it can with only 3 matches and 3 matches, two actual spoken promos, and 2 previews of new wrestlers.
Yep.
It went by fairly quick, and then you ended with this Mexican standoff with Hogan and Luger,
which is weird.
And with little kids and shit.
Saying little kids, dude, that line will live in infamy. That shit, like that shit, had me rolling.
I can see his ideas, and I can see why. I can honestly see why Bischoff got put in that position. He has some good ideas.
It did.
And having a weekly televised show, you have to.
Yeah.
I don't know how you gonna sell your product if you don't have a weekly show. This is why like those companies like you remember when Impact lost his TV deal?
Yeah.
It's like what the hell is it gonna do?
Yeah.
That's how they lost their entire fan base.
Mm-hmm.
Lose your TV deal, bro. Like what are we supposed to do?
Right.
That's why there was an India fight and shit. Like, it wasn't making sense what was going on in like 2013 and shit.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't. You're right. I mean, it was. Jeez, you would think.
Why are 8 wrestlers in India fighting for their?
I don't know. I don't know. If none of it makes sense.
Shit out of Indian people.
Oh my god, dude! Like, Impact. Man. Yeah. All right, man. But yeah, that's our review of this Monday Night Nitro episode 1, man. I wanted to get to this, man. Shout out to YoMannie with the episode, with the idea for the episode to talk about this, man. This was fun, man. We definitely got to get some more people on here to talk about just random shit like me,
Think of some more dope ideas, and we'll get some users to give us some feedback. We'll have some people call in, and keep going from here.
Absolutely,
growing our fan base and go from here, bro.
Absolutely, man. Definitely, man. Thanks again to YoMannie, man. You got any plugs?
Just shout out to you, bro, for helping me get on and helping me learn this podcast stuff and
Yeah, man.
Mega Powers podcast, folks. Look out for us, for real.
Absolutely, man. I'm digging this, bro. I love getting on the mic and just talking shit. It's awesome. It feels great.
We'll be out here in no time, bro.
Absolutely. All right, man. I'm gonna call it there, man. You guys have a great one. This will be on YouTube, my YouTube channel, Chewie891, where I do all my videos and all that stuff. My podcast will be there. I figured out today how to upload my videos to my podcast on Spotify. So that's exciting. So that's going to be there too. But definitely this will be on YouTube. Again, like the video if you like the video. Dislike the video if you dislike the video. Comment, subscribe. We will be doing some more content. We'll be doing some more stuff like this. I think tomorrow I'm going to talk about the playoffs. My predictions on that. And that's it. That's all I got today, man. Thanks again to YoMannie. I appreciate it.
No problem, bro.
Absolutely, man. You guys take care, man. Have a blessed day. Be safe.
God bless.
Yep.
Peace.